Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
I love breaking grape. Time to hit the dance floor. I love breaking grape. Let's see the drum and saw.
Everybody loves rake and spray. The little children love rake and spray. They love the rake and spray. They love the rake and spray. Ooh, everybody loves rake and spray. Took my baby to the dance last night, and much to my surprise, when we got there, she hit me with the news right between the eyes. She said she couldn't dance rake and spray. She said she couldn't dance rake and spray. She couldn't rake and spray. She couldn't rake and spray. Ooh, my baby couldn't dance rake and spray.
Good morning this morning. Welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. You know, when you have an entire show lined up, because of course it's Friday the 18th of October, and if it's a Friday, it's a sports Friday, right? And you have a whole slew of sports stories lined up, but then your producer play a song and make you change your whole mind about what you want to talk about this morning. Could you imagine you in love with a woman, you's a Bahamian man, you in love with a woman, and she can't rake and scrape. Hey, producer, you have to send me the link to that song so I could interrogate it further. Because what a dilemma. What a dilemma. You, a Bahamian man, in love with a woman who can't rake and scrape. What you could do? I wonder if we have any rake and scrape schools around here where we teach people how to rake and scrape, especially the young children. Because, how they gonna learn? If we don't teach them, if we don't learn them. But I tell you what, I want to say good morning to all of Elutra and Eddie Minnis. As I remember the wonderful project that Eddie Minnis has embarked on, where he's creating 3 song books, right, to contain the sheet music, that contains the sheet music for 90 songs from his collection of music. Each book contains about 30 songs. And this is a part of the process of transferring culture. It's a good morning to everybody in Elutra, especially the people who know where all the hog plum growing, because I bet you it's maybe a handful of hog plum left on the tree. In fact, last week and week before last, I discovered a mango tree with plenty mango on it. But it wasn't in my yard and it wasn't in my neighbor's yard. In fact, it was in my friend's yard and it was growing from the neighbor's yard. And so I had to be on my best behavior and I could not procure any of these late summer mangoes. And then by the time I got back to the tree, all the mangoes were gone, as if the owner of the tree saw me trying to develop a relationship with the mangoes on their tree. So I say this, if you have fruit trees and you think the season has just ended, you should go back out and check your tree because there may be some late fruit on the tree. In fact, I saw a tree with a couple juju on it and all in its infancy. It's a Sports Friday, and we got lots of sports news to talk about. But the same way, this rainy weather has people wondering whether they're going to work or not, pun intended. I looking at these headlines, and I want to just talk about a couple of things briefly before we head into sports. Headline on the front of today's Tribune, almost 80,000 see lower power bills. Minister, over 79,000 see 5 to 50% reduction monthly. More than 70,000 Bahamas Power and Light customers saw reductions up to 5 to 50% in their monthly power bills between July and September due to the company's new equity rate structure, according to Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis. She revealed the reduced rates during yesterday's press briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister. She noted that in July, more than 79,000 residential customers experienced monthly bill reductions of 5 to 50% under the new rate structure compared to the previous tariff. Meanwhile, over 78,000 customers saw similar reductions in August. In September, more than 81,000 residential customers benefited from these decreased rates. Mrs. Colby Davis said the equity rate structure also included a base tariff reduction for temporary supply customers to support economic growth, home ownership, and construction. I need to find out what a temporary supply customer is. Is that like a contractor that requires an electrical connection for a specific part of the construction period? We can return to the article. She said in July, more than 21,000 temporary supply customers experienced a reduction of between 5 and 50% in their monthly bills under the new tariff system. If it is 2,100 temporary supply customers, that can't be construction related, right? Can it? We go back to the article. In August, this number rose to over 2,140 customers. By September, more than 2,180 customers saw similar bill reductions. The new BPL rate structure implemented on July 1st is part of the government's initiative to reduce electricity costs. We all remember in the earlier part of the article where it says she revealed the reduced rates during yesterday's press briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister. Okay, here we go. Under the plan, residents no longer pay for the first 200 kilowatt hours of electricity each month, eliminating the previous 10.95 cents per kilowatt charge. This change saves $21.90 per month, while the fuel charge has been reduced by 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour for the first 800 kilowatt hours. Mrs. Colby Davis acknowledged that large commercial customers experienced higher bills due to an adjustment in their base tariff. However, she predicted that energy costs should decrease over time with efficiency upgrades at BPL, including a new HFO boiler at Clifton Pier, expected to save over $35 million annually in fuel costs, and 2 new LNG units projected to save over $29 million per year. Now, here's my thing. How much of the reductions experienced are due to a decrease in consumption as we moved out of summer into fall and temperatures dropped slightly, right? Do you have a consumption assessment that we can juxtapose to the new rates? Because here's my thing. Why are you just revealing the rates now? If it was implemented on July 1st, why are you revealing it yesterday, in the middle of October? She further discussed the government's partnership with Bahamas Grid Corporation, a special purpose vehicle that is 60% majority owned by undisclosed private investors. Again, Bahamas Grid Corporation, a special purpose vehicle that is 60% majority owned by undisclosed private investors to enhance the country's energy grid. So the 40% remaining is owned by, is it BPL or is it the government? And if the government owns any percentage of the 40% that is not owned by undisclosed private investors, shouldn't those undisclosed private investors be revealed to the other investors, which would be us, the Bahamian people? Do we not have a right to know? Or is that why we see the emergence of this new language, special purpose vehicle, because the legislation that constructs or provides for the construction of a, quote, special purpose vehicle, close quotes, enables the government to maintain a degree of secrecy. I mean, let me use a different word, privacy. But you can't use private because it's a public matter. Anyway, she said a framework agreement has been signed between the government and BGC with an operational framework currently in development and expected to be finalized soon. When asked for details on the framework agreement, she said it would be tabled in Parliament soon. Quote, the partnership with BGC will fortify our transmission network with advanced conductors with an initial investment of $130 million. Close quote, she said, quote, this investment isn't just about dollars, it is about building a grid that can withstand the storms that challenge us each season, ensuring that our communities are better prepared and more resilient. Close quotes. She said BGC will provide training opportunities for BPL staff, giving them access to the latest grid technology while enabling them to grow in their careers. That last paragraph right there may be the most important paragraph in the article, because you have adopted a technology that your specific technical workforce is unable to operate independently from the providers of said technology. And if, as some people are saying anecdotally, this plan has been in the works for 10 years plus, nobody has created training or further education opportunities, continued education opportunities for the staff at BEC, aka BPL, they're two separate entities legally, to ensure that the local staff is able to operate the technology that you intend on adopting? This, for me, is perhaps the most troubling part of the article. She said BGC will provide training opportunities for BPL staff, giving them access to the latest grid technology while enabling them to grow in their careers. Are you going to train them on the new technology? Like you're going to wait until the machines get here and then give them a crash course on how to run them? You didn't have any training opportunities where key members of staff were sent to jurisdictions that have been operating this technology for a significant amount of time, such that they are able to offer academic or technical skills training in a reputable institution, like a technical training college or a university program, so that they could then come back home and not just operate the machines, but teach other engineers how to operate the machines? There's a whole lot of money that we're throwing after a whole lot of money, that it turns out that we're throwing after a whole lot of money for you to turn up and say, well, we haven't even trained the people on how to use the technology yet. I think it's time that we demand a commission of inquiry into the new, what do you call it, new energy era, the energy reform policy by the Davis administration. And the inquiry should cover at least 3 decades. at least 3 decades of the operation of BEC and BPL. Okay, another story. I think that story was just so important it needed to be read out loud, like collectively. Like we get the newspapers and we all read them. We tune in online. We go to Guardian, Nassau, the official Nassau Guardian website. We read the papers, but sometimes it's important to read them collectively. That's why in school, in class, we had a number of different modes of teaching literacy and reading. You read by yourself, you listened to the teacher read, we read as a group, and we listened to our peers read, because the way that you receive the information is different depending on the mode. Another quick interesting story. Britain hands over 10,000 documents on Bahamas' path to independence. This story is also in the Guardian. UK hands over 10,000 pages of Bahamian archival documents. It's very interesting. The British government yesterday handed over 10,000 pages of archival documents relating to the Bahamas' journey to independence from Britain in 1973. This is the paragraph that I wanted. Officials said digital copies of these new documents should be made available for online viewing soon. Soon. First of all, I don't like the word soon. It is so subjective, right? And you would think that older members of our society have a different perception of what soon means, right? But if they say in Jesus soon come, for them, soon could mean an extremely long time. But what do you mean when you say these documents should be made available for online viewing soon? You couldn't say they will be made available, because that makes me feel a little more confident that we will have access to them. In the picture, the Prime Minister is thumbing through a hard copy document, a paper document. How long will it take y'all to scan all 10,000 of those pages? I don't know. I'm very concerned about what that word soon means. Officials said Baroness Jenny Chapman, United Kingdom Minister for the Caribbean, officially handed over the documents during a ceremony at the Ministry of Education. The records had previously been stored at the UK's National Archives. At the event, Minister of Education Glenys Hanna-Martin said the documents give insight into the Bahamas' historic relationship with its former British colonizer, Britain. Quote, it helps us to piece together the truth and to harvest a deeper understanding of that experience and the emergence of the Bahamian people in a post-colonial era, close quotes, she said. In the second picture, somebody is handing the documents over to the Minister of Education. Now, to be honest with you, I can understand why Glenys Hanna-Martin would have insisted that she be at this event, whether as an individual, as a representative for Engliston, or as a cabinet minister responsible for the Ministry of Education. But the Ministry of Education is not good at digitizing things. They have a backlog of things that need to be digitized. Please, please, tell me something good. Oh boy. Davis expressed gratitude to officials in the UK for making the handover possible. Thank you for giving us our documents, cousin. Thank you for giving us the things that we need for true and authentic independence and sovereignty. Quote, these documents serve as a powerful reminder of the struggle of our ancestors and the struggles that they faced, and the incredible resilience they showed in the face of unimaginable adversity, close quotes, he said. This is a very interesting article as well. The records also include commentary about the night of July 10th, 1973, and contain pictures of the gifts given to the Bahamas from the UK government. We would like to see them. There are also documents relating to the Bahamas' post-independence policy and legislation. Quote, there is lots of rich content which I hope will be of interest to the ministry, to historians, and to the students directly, close quotes, Chapman said. What about the public? Quote, I'm delighted to be able to hand over these important documents, close quotes. The documents will be stored at the Bahamas' National Archives. Okay, the Bahamas' National Archives. I need to check up on the policy about that, but are we talking about the space, right, where the records essentially, you have to go and pay a private company to access these records? That's at the National Archives? I think that's a very important point that needs to be clarified. I'm concerned that it appears, well, the event is held at a Ministry of Education event, so I can understand the commentary of Ms. Chapman, who is, and this is perhaps the most exciting part of the conversation, the UK's Minister for the Caribbean. The UK has a ministry for the Caribbean. Not a subdivision or a department that sits in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you know. They have a whole ministry for the Caribbean. That, for me, is perhaps the most fascinating part of this article. Because if the UK has a ministry for the Caribbean, do we have a ministry for the UK? Do we have a ministry of decolonization? Just something that was fascinating. Last article headline I would like to read before we get into some sports news, because we got Bahamians doing exciting things at home and abroad. Government preparing implementation plan from Ombudsman Act, AG says. The government is in the process of preparing an implementation plan for the Office of the Ombudsman, implementing the Ombudsman Act. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Ryan Pinder said yesterday at a forum at the University of the Bahamas marking International Ombudsman's Day. Quote, this would be the first ombudsman for complaints to be investigated against a Bahamas government authority, close quotes, Pinder said. He noted an ombudsman is a neutral fact finder, not an advocate for one side or the other. I mean, we're not even 2 paragraphs into the process, and it appears as if the government has changed the meaning of ombudsman and the intent of the post of ombudsman. An ombudsman is supposed to be an advocate for the public, not a fact finder. The Freedom of Information Act is where the fact finders are. That's where they are. Producer, let's go to the phone line. Let's prepare the phone line. Caller, coming to you in 1 second. Check with them, producer, and see if they on a cell phone, in which case I will go to them immediately. Pinder pointed out also that an ombudsman plays an active role in bridging civil society and government, linking the responsibilities of the state to the rights of citizens. No, it's civil society, yes, but as a citizen, I shouldn't have to go through any particular civil society organization to be able to engage an ombudsman. Linking the responsibilities of the state to the rights of citizens and connecting national laws to regional and international human rights systems. We're going to pick this article up in particular next week. I'm going to look for members of org to help us understand the role of an ombudsman, the role that's been created in the Bahamas through the Ombudsman Act, and where we can move from there. We're going to go to a break, and when we get back from the break, I bet you that's Eric Sawyer III coming to tell me about how his 49ers are heading their conference this week. When we get back from the break, we're going to delve straight into sports, of course, to prepare you for The Accredited from 10th year seniors, which airs Saturday at 11 a.m. That's going to be a full dose of sports for you on the weekend. Anyway, we're going to a break. Stay tuned. On the clock, we'll be right back.
I had a girl, and Donna was her name. Yeah.
Ready for a show that thinks outside the box? Of course you are. From 10th year seniors, it's The Accredited, where we combine hard-hitting sports talk with top-tier pop culture takes. We're breaking down the plays, calling out the moves, and debating everything from the locker room stories to the latest TV obsessions. Premiering October 19th at 11 a.m. on Guardian Radio 96.9, step into the arena where real talk meets the culture. This is The Accredited.
Just sign in and have a seat, please. They'll call you in for your x-ray shortly.
That's why they call it a waiting room. You won't have that problem at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiologist can conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor today.
Hi there, this is Stanya from Tell It to Stanya, and guess what? I will be returning to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM starting October 19th, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. What is this show about? It's a continuation of the last time I was here. It's about you, it's about me, it's about learning the lessons of life, it's about love, it's about grief, it's about family issues, it's about talking about the things that we need to talk about, but we never got a chance or space to do it. Join me Saturdays starting October 19th, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Let's find out together on Tell It to Stanya.
Because I'm happy.
The Happy Hour, bringing happiness to the airwaves. Do you want to hear from incredible individuals making a difference in the community? Do you need a motivational reminder of the goodness happening in our Bahama land? Tune in to the Happy Hour, where we will be talking with the people making positive impacts on their communities every day. From the civic leader empowering to the young person leading, the Happy Hour will focus on the goodness all around us. Join the Happy Hour, 12 o'clock on Saturdays. Starting this Saturday, the 19th of October, tune into Guardian Talk Radio to listen into the Happy Hour.
No matter who I marry, no matter where my wife gives birth, our children will be Bahamian, like me.
If I marry a man who's not Bahamian, I have to give birth in the Bahamas, or my children won't even be Bahamian like I am.
That don't even make sense.
That's why we had the referendum in 2016.
But the people vote no.
The government can still do something about it with ordinary legislation. And it needs to develop an action plan and timeline to hold another referendum to deal with gender inequality in the Constitution.
How we can make that happen?
Go to tiny.cc/nationality to support the campaign for equal nationality rights by Equality Bahamas.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Unequal gender nationality law is a violation of human rights and a failure of the government to meet its obligations. In 2018, the CEDAW Committee told the Bahamas to set a clear time frame for constitutional reform, to integrate the principle of gender equality into all laws, and to amend the Bahamas Nationality Act 1973 for Bahamian women and men to transmit citizenship on an equal basis. Join Equality Bahamas in demanding action now. Visit tiny.cc/nationality for more.
Go get your whistles, bells, and horns. Heat up the drums, put the costumes on. This is the season for Canoe. Time to put on your Russian shoes. Out on Bay Street, downtown Nassau.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. You're on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Let's hold the dial right there because your Saturdays are about to get a whole lot more interesting. Our all-new Saturday lineup is here beginning this Saturday on Guardian Radio. The Eye Opener at 9 a.m. will be joined by a whole new crop of shows. The Accredited from 10th Year Seniors at 11 a.m. for all your sports news. The Happy Hour with Deandra Cartwright at 12 p.m. The return of Tell It to Stanya with Stanya Davis at 1 p.m. The new show, Our Blue Bahamas from Brief. That's the Bahamas Reef Environmental Education and Awareness Group, and all new editions of University Drive, now at 2:30 p.m. A full slate of amazing shows, this and every Saturday on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. A quick note to the members of the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau, the Dance Under the Stars event being hosted by the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau this evening has been canceled. Tickets will be honored on the new date. So you get to rest your foot up a little longer before the relaunch of Dance Under the Stars, which has been postponed this evening, and I imagine due to weather. Another quick text. Oh boy. Good morning, Erin. There's something that's bothering me. My son-in-law is a Rastafarian, and every time he travels with his family, Border Patrol holds him up. This morning was the same thing, and he missed his flight because Border Patrol held him up for a long time. Now he was separated from his family and has to take a later flight. Okay, texter. You and your son-in-law need to meet with an immigration lawyer. Right? You need to meet with an immigration lawyer. You need to determine whether there is a specific reason why he is delayed at Border Patrol. You may determine that there is a charge that should have been, right? Like he may have been brought before the courts as something that should have been removed from the system, and it wasn't, and the U.S. authorities are reading it incorrectly. Could be something that just needs to be cleared by being removed from the system, but perhaps an immigration lawyer can assist you in determining what the specific issue is. Sometimes they delay you to determine whether you're going to panic or not, right? Whether you're doing something other than you're purporting to be doing. Because if you're just on a family vacation, one person going a little later than the others shouldn't really disturb your travel plans, right? And so sometimes it's a technique that they use to measure the temperament of the traveler to determine if something else is going on. But again, I advise get an immigration lawyer to walk through it with you. The text says, hey, power bill reduction, does she mean the $30 reduction in the bills that jump $200 per $30 win? I agree with you, Erin. I believe our reparations happen when we have an independent inquiry into procurement practices at BEC, inclusive of generator purchases. To date, we've had one man, Fred Ramsey, convicted of multiple counts of bribery in purchase of a BEC generator, but we've had a number of controversial $1 million deals in the past decade. We need electricity reparations. And Mr. Ramsey, as far as I'm aware, didn't make any decisions. The capacity in which he operated did not give him the authority to make these decisions. Let's go to another text quickly. And on that note, I'm definitely going to, on Monday, I would like to, if no more exciting stories pop up, focus on these stories, the headline, PM pushes for reparations, and the story about the 10,000 documents. I'm hoping that I could get stakeholders and advocates in the space on board, but I don't want to create an environment that creates an acrimonious relationship between the policymakers and the civil society stakeholders, because the civil society stakeholders were caught in a conversation interrogating the issues that they work on. Another text, good morning. I noted in the news yesterday that Minister Colby Davis has filed a complaint for libel with the COP. How will they verify that the audio, video, that is the subject of the complaint? I didn't even know that was the subject of the complaint, is authentic, that the person is the real person making the allegations, that it is not AI, since we have not yet determined whether the voice on the recordings is that of a senior police officer. Very interesting text. Many things need to be interrogated within it. You know what needs interrogation? The legislation that provides for criminal libel charges. What is irony? Irony is that I'm afraid of having a conversation about criminal libel in case somebody may attempt to use it against me for the things I say in the conversation about criminal libel. What a conundrum. All right, that's all the text on the text line. Again, the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau's Dance Under the Stars event has been postponed. It's canceled tonight, but tickets will be honored at the new date, when the new date will be announced shortly. Okay, let's get into some local sports news. First of all, Mr. Eric Sawyer III, I miss you. I think the Dolphins did win this week. I'm very excited. We didn't lose. I'm very excited. I don't think we lost. Did we lose? It's been a hard few weeks. We're approaching week 7, and I already tired of watching the Dolphins lose. But I'm a Bahamian. We don't give up on our team. So let's start with this news. If you have a copy of The Guardian in your hand today, right now, you'll see on the front page, we are preparing for the 6th Caribbean Baseball Cup being held at the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. 6 days featuring 17 games, October 23rd through 28th. It's a great outing for the family. It's a great outing for the family. Okay, first story. Bahamian sailors compete at Sunfish Worlds, the 2024 International Sunfish Class Association World Championships are underway. They started on October 12th. They're going to end tomorrow, October 19th, in Texas, Lake Ray Hubbard in Heath, Texas. The first 3 races were held on Monday, but I haven't found a follow-up on the results. Representing the Bahamas are brothers Drake Knowles and Dawson Knowles from Long Island, Tanaj Manos and Di Major and Alvington McKenzie from the Exuma Sailing Club in Exuma. And these sailors earned their spots at the Bahamas Sunfish Nationals in July. Another sailing story. Gombe Punch, exclusive, limited edition, congratulatory cans for Susan Chase, the Caribbean Bottling Company. The local producers of Coca-Cola and Dasani products hosted a celebratory affair to launch the limited edition Bahamas Gombe Punch Susan Chase packaging. The special edition Susan Chase design is in honor of the sloop winning the 2023-2024 Bahamas Gombe Punch Cup. In 2022, this initiative started. The Bahamas Gombe Punch Cup competition started And we follow up on the story. Stephen Knowles, captain of Susan Chase, shared what it means to have his sloop exclusively featured on the Bahamas Goombay Punch cans. Quote, "It is a privilege to be on the Bahamas Goombay Punch can for sailing. It's a wonderful story. Each sailing season, the Bahamas Goombay Punch Cup rotates between different classes. The 2023-2024 winners took the crown in the B class. In addition to earning bragging rights, the Susan Chase of Long Island also won $5,000, and an $8,000 stipend was awarded to Long Island's Junior Sailing Club." Two quick headlines before we get into today's sports news. Sweden qualifies for World Darts Championship. Rashad Sweeting recently made history, becoming the first person from the Bahamas to qualify for the Paddy Power World Darts Championship. Sweeting secured his place through the Championship Darts Latin America and Caribbean CDLC Order of Merit, having won 2 of the 4 events held in 2024. The 2024-2025 Paddy Power World Darts Championship will take place from December 15th to January 3rd in London, England. There's a total of 96 players competing for the Sid Waddle Trophy and £2.5 million. 2.5 million British pounds in prize money. A quick headline: we know that Chisholm and the Yankees are up 2-1 after they lost Game 3 against the Guardians. Bahamian legend Jamio Brennan honored in London for his amazing achievements in boxing. He's a former longtime He won the British Empire Commonwealth Boxing middleweight title in 1963, and he led the way for fighters like Everett Elijah Obed, Ferguson, Freeman Barr, Ray Miners, Steve Larimore, Jermaine Mackey, Sherman Tank Williams, Mecha Major, Kiana Saunders, Rashield Williams, right? They all won regional boxing titles. Congratulations, sir. He lives in Florida. Mr. Brennan is from Bimini, and at 85, he is still a legend. Jones having a strong preseason for the Clippers, averaging 8.3 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks per game. We are hoping that Kai Jones, after hitting 63.1% from the field, is a serious contender for the Clippers starting squad. Maybe not the starting 5, maybe not the 6th man, but we waking on it, Kai. It's great to see you back. Bahamians featured on Associated Press Men's Top 25 list. We're looking at A.J. Storr as a part of the number 1 overall Kansas Jayhawks. V.J. Edgecombe, number 8, as a part of the number 8 Baylor University, Baylor Bears. Then we're looking at Frederick King and the number 15 Creighton Blue Jays. And then we have at number 23 Mikhail McLean, who is roaming the sidelines as an assistant coach for the Kentucky Wildcats. We say congratulations to all of these Bahamians. And of course, we say congratulations to Jonquel Jones. Jonquel and the New York Liberty are up 2-1 in this best of 5 series for the WNBA championships this year. They won the 3rd game 80-77 after Ionescu threw down some daggers, deep threes, competing with Steph Curry and Buddy Hield them, right? The distance from the 3-point line, which of course is different in the WNBA from the NBA. But next year, that 5-game final series will be extended to 7 games. The WNBA is enhancing and expanding. Not only will the Golden State Valkyries join the court next season, the playoff rounds are changing, and the finals will end with a best of 7 series. Now, I wish Mr. Sawyer had called me back so we could talk some football, but let's go through it. Last night, to start off week 7, the Broncos brutalized the Saints with a 33-10 victory. Broncos now sitting at 4-3. Saints sitting at 2-5. This week, by week 7, I got Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys sitting on the sideline. The Cowboys need a lot of rest. I'm glad they get this extended rest because the Lions destroyed them in week 6, 47-9 in that international game. Is that the international game, Cowboys versus Lions? Maybe not. Maybe I got that wrong. It might as well have been. Cowboys, I don't know what happened to y'all, but I got to go find my Cowboys cousin so I could go laugh at him. Producer, let's go to the phone line. Let's see if that's Mr. Eric Sawyer III. Good morning, caller.
Oh, morning, Miss Greene. How are you?
I am good, thank you, ma'am. How you doing?
I am well, thank you. I was actually calling, hoping that I would speak with your producer to leave a message asking you to give me a call after your show.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Producer, the caller wants to leave a number for me to call them after the show. You just hold the line and the producer is going to take your information, eh?
Thank you.
You are welcome, ma'am. You are welcome. So week 6, 49ers, they did their thing, 36-24 against the Seahawks. Commanders lost, I'm going to say at this point, a rare loss because Commanders are 4-2. I think they're sitting at the top of their conference. The Ravens beat the Commanders 30-23. Texans took out the Patriots 40-21. Steelers, Bahamas have a little Steelers nation in it. 32-13 against the Raiders. Bengals won 17-7 against the Giants, leaving the Bengals with a 2-4 record. Of course, the Dolphins had their bye week last week, and I hope that they got all the rest they needed and found the quarterback that they need to take them through this season. So they are not looking like the Browns at 1-5 and the Jaguars at 1-5. Bears beat the Jaguars. I think that was the international game, 35-16. They played in London. The next international game is this week, Patriots versus Jaguars in London. And in week 10, the Giants versus the Panthers in Germany. And then I think when we missed the Eagles versus Green Bay Packers game that was September 6th in Brazil, this international play is spreading out. And the NFL is adding Madrid to its international jurisdiction lineup for 2025. To close out week 6, we got the Falcons taking out the Panthers 38-20. Eagles taking out the Browns 20-16. Packers versus Cardinals 34-13. Packers win that one. Jets versus Bills. Bills squeak it out 23-20. Buccaneers with an impressive run on the field. They took down the Saints in week 6, 51-27. Again, the Saints had the Thursday night lineup spot last night where they got defeated by the Broncos. Saints, it ain't looking good. Colts beat the Titans 20-17. And last week, Chargers beat the Broncos last week 23-16. It was a good week. It was a very good week. Mr. Sawyer, 49ers are sitting at the top of their conference with 3-3, which is amazing. Chiefs got the best record in the league so far, I think, at 5-0. They haven't lost one yet. I wonder if they could hold that up. And Texans looking a whole lot better from last year. They are at 5-1. They're rivaling the Chiefs. We see what the Chiefs do now that they are off their early bye week. Again, New York Liberty defeated the Minnesota Lynx October 16th. They took a 2-1 series lead. The next game is tonight. And if the Liberty don't close it out tonight, the next game is on the 20th. I think Sunday the 20th. It's going to be a good time in the WNBA. It's great to see Jonquel making this push. She is an underrated player. Right, like we don't give her enough credit. She's gotten best six man. Let's go to the phone line, dead quick producer. Best six man. She's got an MVP. I think she's gotten a Defensive Player Award. Jonquel Jones just doing it big. Good morning, caller. You got 30 seconds to close out the show.
Yeah, morning, Erin. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
He ain't calling in today, man. It's a replay of the Super Bowl for them this week. They got the Chiefs.
Oh.
They got the Chiefs. Eric, them got the Chiefs. That's a replay of the Super Bowl. So he ain't calling in. He's scared.
I bet you he ain't a bad either. That's the
yeah, and the Vikings 5-0 too. Not only the Chiefs.
Oh, who?
The Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings. They 5-0 too.
Okay, yeah, you're right. They are 5-0 too.
Yeah, and you see they got the Lions this week, so that's a big game.
Yeah,
that's a big game.
They got to play hard.
Yeah, and then Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, and they think they got the Bucks. That's another big game too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big game. Some big games, 1 o'clock Sunday. Plenty big games.
You think the Dolphins?
King are calling. He's scared. He's scared. He know the Chiefs got their number.
You think the Dolphins could pull it off against the Colts?
Boy, Flacco look good for a 40-year-old man. He look good, but I glad it's him that it ain't Anthony Richardson because he way better. But Flacco pull off some good two of the last games. He look good, but. I know we got have to try, man. We got have to try to get the 500. We got to try to get the 3-3, man.
Get all the.
We ain't have no other choice.
Y'all get all your boy them together, because at 11, what's the time it is? At 11 a.m., the accredited from 10th year seniors, y'all talk some more sports. I will be at home saying a prayer for the Cowboys, because Dallas breaking right down right now.
Okay. I know they look the Saints to look like that when they play them.
Yes, sir, I got
the Saints to look like that last time. The Saints to mash them up too. Naughty them up, yeah.
Yes.
Mash them up too.
Absolutely.
They look bad last night, man. They need Kirk that I have come back.
Yes, sir. Look here. Yes. You have a great day. Remember, tune in to...
Have a nice safe weekend and be careful on them wet streets out there, Erin.
Yes, sir. I will do. I will do. You think I ain't sliding into last place like the Cowboys? Not me.
Bless up.
Bless up. You guys have a great day. Again, it is wet outside. It's going to be wet all weekend. Check the tides. Go online and check the tides so you know when and where to move your car this weekend. Thank you, producer. Excited to be back after yesterday's absence. I was trying to find a father to take me Halloween trick-or-treating, and he said, you have to get a sugar test, Miss Greene. I ain't taking you for candy if you got sugar. That's a responsible Uncle A. I may keep him. You guys have a great weekend. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Muri is up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.